Oh, okay. Where's
It's
that?
4 o'clock, that's what.
4 o'clock. Are you ready?
I'm ready, sir.
Okay. Okay. Are you sure? Just kidding. All right. It's 4 o'clock, Monday, July the 8th. We call this meeting to order. We're still meeting as the Board of Equalization. As I recall, the assessor went out to visit the property. And I think I may get mixed up here, but we had 2 or 3 parcel numbers for that. Would you like to give us a report on by parcel number on what you're thinking now? And
Any preference which one's first, Commissioner?
no, it's up to you. I'll just try to find where you're at.
Okay. So I thank the Beehners for letting us access their property, and Corey and Katie did go out and do an on-site visit this morning, and Corey has some adjustments that he'd like to present.
Okay.
We went to the property this morning. Matt allowed us into the house to look through and showed us that his kitchen is outdated. Yes, there is sun damage on his linoleum. There is dips in the kitchen floor. Still has the original carpets, original carpets, well, basically everything's original in the house. So the dwelling is currently in fair condition, which we considered lack of updates. After the inspection, we applied a -5% adjustment to the dwelling, taking into consideration the floor with the sun damage and the kitchen floor with dips. Should I just read across the values?
Why don't you just go down
Okay.
for these 2 parcels and then we'll.
Okay. And then Matt took us outside and showed us the cracks in the pavement and showed us the cracks in the concrete patio out back, along with the eco blocks showing us how much damage they've depreciated over time, and his fence is leaning outwards because of the eco blocks deteriorating. So we we took their landscaping from 35% and dropped it to 20%, which helped lower the value some. And parcel that ends in 2250, we did no changes on because it's just yard and gravel. We left that value the same. And onto the shop, we corrected the measurements that we had at 45.5 by 60. We got it correct to 40. We changed the condition of the shop from average to good. It needed to be updated, and then we adjusted the pavement around the shop from average good to average fair for cracks, which lowered the value as well. And the total before inspection was $625,293, and after the inspection it is $592,256.
That's all 3 parcels.
That's
together.
all 3 parcels together.
Okay. Anything else you want to report? Okay. Mr. and Mrs. Beehner, this is not a hearing, this is just a meeting, so what would you like to?
Just, you directed them to look at the Brookside.
Yeah, I was going to get to that one here. Yeah.
I thought that was everything.
No, I'll get to that.
So can I ask something?
Yeah.
Then, okay. Like I said, I'm not, I got to watch one of the meetings, so I'm not really sure what all went on, so that's why I'm trying to catch up. So it was pointed out before that the Beehners are always complaining about the ProVal having incorrections on it or mistakes on it and stuff, which is true. And as much as with the ecology blocks, it helps with dropping the landscaping from 35% to 20%, because in 2018, that is what Connie did, was she added 20% to our landscaping, supposedly for the ecology blocks. But unfortunately, that landscaping line, where my argument with it is twofold. One, we were being marked as, with the landscaping at 15% for years, trying to get that corrected, when people beside us that have more trees, more raised flower beds, more than just basically what I call a football field, we have grass, have either 0 or 5% landscaping, and I don't see where the equality is with that. I'm going back to the mistakes that I've pointed out in the past. The ProVal is the only thing I've been given as the tool. I've asked, how is my assessment done? Show me. The ProVal is the thing that I've always been given. So I go back and I look at the details that add on to that. And when, like I said, when there's all of our land that Corey just dropped from 35 to 20%, that's actually just on the main house property. It's whatever amount of square footage, but we were getting marked 35% up for that square footage. But then on top of, that land, we have a patio that we're getting charged for. We have pavers that we were getting charged for. So it's like we're, I've never agreed with the ecology. I mean, if you want to list the ecology blocks, I'll argue till I'm blue in the face that having a retaining wall is a improvement, as opposed to someone who is able to have a flat piece of property without a retaining wall. That seems to me to be a more valuable piece of land than having to have the maintenance and the upkeep of a retaining wall so my land doesn't fall onto somebody else. We've been paying 35% for that privilege of having it, and that 35% has been over the entire piece of the parcel, not just the blocks, and you're charging for landscaping, but then you're charging for the cement on top of that landscaping. I mean, it's more than being charged two different times. And honestly, that's all I've been trying to get taken care of. Excuse me. I appreciate Corey and John's time meeting with me and stuff, and Corey and Katie, Kate or Katie? Katie, okay. Katie coming up and being able to meet with Matt, because I had to go to the doctor this morning, and taking the time to do it. Far better attitude and professionalism than anything we've had dealt with in the county commissioners or in the assessor's office from 2013 on. No, on. Because there were assessors on our property in 2013. They measured the shop, they walked around. We weren't denying people anything until I started asking questions and wanting things justified, and got nothing but attitude and unprofessionalism from the office. So that's why, like I said, anything that I say, it's not going to be derogatory, but any non-positive experiences that we've had is not with the two people that are sitting here. So like I said, that's where my stuff comes to. I would still love to, like, you're going to do what you're going to do. I would still love to sit down with Corey, because my meeting with him and John, they were talking today about, well, Mindy said something about a deck, and I believe in the meeting that Corey said, the one that was online that I could see, the first one from last week, that I had brought up a wooden deck that he wouldn't be able to discuss or be able to do anything about because he'd been denied access to our property. That wooden deck was not on my property. That's a wooden deck that I brought up that was drawn on a ProVal sheet. John Ferlin thought that it was probably being taxed in the basis of the house on someone else's property. Because what I brought up is I'm not an assessor. I can't knock on the door and go walk in somebody's house and that. I can only see what I can see from the street. Every single one of my concerns that I've brought up are things that I'm being taxed on or at a higher rate than my neighbors in the same subdivision are either not being taxed on or at a lesser rate. So that is where my my concerns are with mistakes, and there have been mistakes in the past that the assessor's office has gone ahead and fixed. We had to have some stuff fixed because they weren't giving us the full, there was math mistakes and we didn't get our full homeowner's exemption. You know, I mean, mistakes happen. That's why all I have is this sheet to go by, and when I add the things up on it, I mean, it's a tool, but when I add it up, it's what's coming out that you guys are then gonna set a value on that you want my money for. So this is what I go back to, is if this is wrong and I'm being overvalued on something, then down the road, I'm getting screwed. So that's why I have been, it's not even the Behners, it's Mindy Beehner, has been obsessed and tried to, for consistently for the last 4 years, since June of 2020, when we got denied access to the assessor's office. We had to contact the prosecuting attorney's office in order to talk to the assessor. So at that point, it's like from then on, it's been a crap show. So that's where I'm coming from. I would love do what you're going to do, but I would love to still have the ability to sit with Corey and Katie or John or whomever, as long as they just look at the property that they've been on, not take into account how much they hate my husband.
Okay. Corey, would you had 3 parcels added together, and you said that this took the value down to 592, 256 from where?
From 625 to 93. So it's a $33,037 difference.
Okay. And then Mr. Beehner just reminded us, the other thing we'd asked about was that the property next to them on the Brookside development that they listed. Did you look into that?
Yes.
What did you come up with there?
We're requested by the board to look onto 2 parcels owned by Brookside Development LLC and how they were being valued compared to the neighboring parcel. Using the maps is all we have to go off of, alongside with a site visit. The land is valued correctly. The creek goes through the bottom corner of the parcel ending in 0230000 and through the middle of 024018A. When comparing the Brookside parcels to parcel 00950024001A, there are some differences in topography. According to the map, most of the parcel ending in 001A is on the opposite side of the creek. It has limited access and mostly hillside. The creek going through the small parcel is not the ideal for development. However, that is addressed in our 4 separate adjustments on the Brookside parcels. The adjustments are as follows: creek bottom minus 50%, access minus 25%, and location minus 25%. The Brookside parcels are not valued like the parcel they're being compared to, because to the best of our knowledge, they are not comparable. There are no additional adjustments that we can make to keep values fair.
Okay. Thank you for your report on that. Comments from either of the Behners?
I would argue they're just right next door to each other. Yeah, part of theirs goes across the creek, so does mine. Right, that street, yeah, goes across the creek too. And what was directed is the square footage. You guys had asked what the parcel next to us per square foot, and I think I quoted 2 cents a square foot, and we're 4 and 12.
12 and 7.
12 and 7. So do we have that information, what those parcels next to us?
Did you look at what we're charging for that parcel that they
2 cents.
2 cents a square foot.
2 cents a square foot. Okay, but, and your reasoning was that you can't value it the same way because,
It's hard when they're land like this, but here's some maps that we printed off. There's one with imagery, and this one you can see a little bit better. So here's the Beehner, the Brookside parcels. This is the one we're comparing to, but the creek is coming here. So we're on one side of the creek, and then this main parcel is on the other side of it. And that's where the theory of this being worth less than this is coming from. However, they're both low value. They're very low values. The two Brookside parcels together are 5,000 something, you know, and this one is at the 2 cents a square foot. But-
So this one's on the other side of you'd have to have a bridge to get to it.
Right. And there is this one tiny little corner here, but, and this is all we have to go off of. All we have is the aerial
have some
imagery.
down here in a second.
All we have is the aerial imagery to do, and then the site visit that we saw today, so.
Okay.
You can look, but you can't touch.
I'll use
Use your pencil.
I'll use my eraser. All right. First off, whatever little lines drawn on here, you don't have any idea where the creek's going. The aerial you can see it on. This is also a little bit deceiving because when you do the aerial with the trees, it's got like a weird shadowing going on. These 4 lots were part of this parcel, and when we were doing this investment, Yule wanted us to take everything all the way down, but because of encroachments and that, we weren't able to try to get in and get our survey done before we made this purchase. So we just went ahead and, for lack of a better description, rolled the dice and it came up snake eyes. Anyway, the creek does meander through there. There is a little piece of an alleyway and E Street that the assessor's office refuses to put on the way that the actual legal document states it is. So you could come off of E Street and do the bridge here, but the whole argument for this is once we purchased these and they were pulled out, Mr. Yule at the time wanted me to deal with it and go in and see about his valuations. And again, I tried, but the assessor's office did not want to communicate very well with me. So Mr. Yule called in. This whole piece right here, its valuation is based on Jerry White said to say $1,200. He put a single valuation on it, on a unilateral decision about it. That's why it's at $1,200. It's a gazillion times bigger, because it continues on down. Where exactly it is and where exactly in the creek it is, we only halfway know because HMH and Roletto only put part of their stakes in, and Stratton, when he did the stuff, only went partway down to here, didn't go this far. So we don't know. I mean, all of this based on the aerial, it's all like bank. It's not buildable at the time. We can come in with a better budget than what we're working on right now to push it out and make that land more development, more able to be developed. There we go. But in the meantime, the years and years that we've been waiting for the county to take care of encroachment issues and stuff so that we could get in there, our market plan was to have camping sites to be able to do a variance for the camping sites for the all-class reunion, and that's long gone. We're still sitting on, Stratton's got a thing. We still don't have access to the property back there. And we're probably looking at 2 to 3 times the cost for the sewer to go in I don't know that it's necessarily quote unquote undevelopable now. I mean, let's see, how did my son put it? Financially responsible to continue to develop. We're just sitting on nothing but costs from the attorney to defend the access to this property, plus, the taxes. I agree, they're not valued very high, but 2 cents a square foot versus 7 and 12, or 7 and,
You said 12.
did I say, okay. If I don't have the paper in front of me, I don't know. It's still my 7 and 12 cents a square foot, not the county's. And it's like, this was a unilateral decision made. It's written on the ProVal sheet. that, you know, what happened was Mr. Yule obviously called and yelled better than I approached it or whatever. And Jerry gave it that valuation. I've been trying to get like, you know, a fix for that. Cause yes, we did pay money, but we also admitted, and I reported it. I reported to the county what we paid for it instead of just saying we paid zero for it. It was of no value. We filled out the form and we turned it in, and we've been paying for it since then. So, and the whole access and over the river and that kind of stuff. I mean, you know, this one you're gonna. I mean, you can't even do a bridge to get there because you just basically got the creek in the middle of it. And this one is actually from the survey that we could measure out and an old survey point we found. Again, kind of goes to Stratton's things of if things are shifted here and shifted back over, you know, if it's shifted a little like he's saying and what we've measured off of, there's more of the creek in the middle of this than the picture shows, because it's a flat picture and a round earth, and it's not, those lines aren't right. So
Okay. Thank you. Anything else from the assessors?
So we have to go on the best knowledge we have. And I would like to remind the board that Corey, Katie, and myself hold certificates for appraisal, and we're trained in that. And you have to remember, an appraisal, all it is an opinion of value, period. That's our opinion with the best knowledge we have. I don't think they're being treated different than anyone else. And Mr. Mule, he called the office, we visited, we had the appraisers look at it, and that's where we came up with the determination for that value. That's our opinion. So,
Thank you.
And was that opinion because of the access to it? You have to
the
go- you have to get a
access,
bridge,
the hillside,
the hillside.
topo maps show us that it's very steep. So,
Okay. All right. Well, the assessor has come up with this new assessment adjustment here of 592,256. How do you feel about that after the walkthrough?
After the walkthrough, I would, with the evidence, oh, go ahead.
sorry, I had one comment to follow up to Jerry's on the ProVal sheet. It wasn't the appraiser that had gone out to look at it or whatever. It says that KJ, Katie James, per owner, there is no access to the parcel. Part of it is in the creek and the other part's up the steep hillside. Nobody went out and looked at anything. And then it says per JW changed to a single value. So it was like, it's just line itemed over. It's 1.759 is just a single value of $1,200. That doesn't take an appraiser to figure that out. That's just putting a number on a thing.
no, that took us looking at it, looking at the maps, visiting with Mr. Yule. So,
Just so you know, we had no access either at this time. The new street was actually fenced off. You couldn't get back there. But ours stayed the same.
Well, let's deal with the walkthrough part first.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
I would, with the evidence shown us today and before with the comparables in the reduced price, I would set it at the assessor's amount of $592,256.
Okay.
I would do a motion.
A motion to that. You got that, Heather?
Yes.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So we'll accept the assessor's adjustment on that, and compliments to you guys for the extra work. Thank you. What do you see anything else you want to do with I don't know what to do with the other. We've got two different opinions, one with a certificate.
Now, I just have a question on that. You say you don't have access right now to
No, we do now to 3 lots.
Okay.
Right?
Three of the 10, 12 lots, I think,
Three
three
of
of the
the
12.
But those lots that we're talking about, you do have access, the ones that they have, that we're discussing right now.
We, out of 12, we got three
Three that
lots
we can get to.
that we can get to.
And these lots that we're looking at right now, you can't get to them.
The other 8, because Brookside Avenue is fenced off.
Parcels, there's a bunch of lots in the 2 parcels, is that?
The one parcel I think has 8 lots. We can get to 3 of those. The other 4 lots that are in, I think it's block 24. I can't remember which order they're in. Oops. One sec. These 4 we can't get to, and we can get to the upper 3 in this parcel number.
Do we?
But you can just go through, well, you have access to all of them, right? They're adjacent properties.
Well, there's a street here,
Yeah.
E Street. This is Brookside Avenue. Part of it is fenced off. It's one of the encroachments that have been on file for years. So we can't, I mean, these 3 here,
If we sold the 3 that we're talking about, there'd be no access.
yeah, then there would, like I said, basically, because this part of these 2 lots that are county lots got opened up, only part of them did. We can get in and get onto Brookside Avenue, and we can come up this way and we can get to those 3 lots. But then there is
So you've already got the lots platted?
no, they're part of the subdivision, the Canyon Addition subdivision.
And those lots are all part of that.
Yeah, this is part of the, this is all part of that subdivision from like our shop lots down or west. But we can't, like I said, there is, you can't tell on here, but there is fence round down along here. So we can't go through these people's fence. We can't get the county to open up the fence. So we are stuck being able to access that.
Did you guys take that into account with your figures?
They have adjustments for creek access and location.
Okay. It's all part of a bigger problem. I don't know what the answer is here with the Board of Equalization. We're talking about a parcel, but $1,900 parcel and a $3,500 parcel.
Totaling less square footage than a $1,200 parcel.
Yeah, and I understand your point on the $1,200 parcel, but I understand the assessor's point too. I think at one point you called it not a comparable, so I get that too. Any ideas?
Not at this point. So which parcel would be the one that you couldn't get into? Would that be the one for 1930?
It ends in 18A. You
Yes.
can't get into that. And then the west part of the one ending in a bunch of zeros. I just know them by blocks and lots.
Yeah, I'm out of ideas on that one. I understand, but I don't know that we have enough evidence that goes beyond my expertise.
I would also agree with that as well.
We need to just keep working on the encroachment problem.
If the encroachment problem was fixed, then these would all be accessible, right?
Except
The
for
encroachment
the ones that were
problem.
on the other side of the creek. When you get to, there's F Street that goes through the creek. That is pretty well where you start crossing over.
And this is F Street, clear up here.
Chris Falls has some survey pits
Yeah.
here.
It's not up far enough to be where the garage is and that comes across and meets.
So is that where the access problem is the garage, or is it the one, or is there another access point?
These two lots here were given to the county in exchange for some stuff down here. Part of them are open, so we can get currently like our mower and stuff back there. You wouldn't be able to get a dump truck or anything to do work. You can come back and you can now, the fence that was on Brookside up here is gone, so we can get back on Brookside and we can drive up to here. But anything below like anything below about right there
So you
is
can't go
fenced
that-
off. You can't go
this
down
way
that way.
Because of the fence.
because of the
Yeah.
fence.
You can't go down Brookside in that. I mean, you know, you could come in this way and then traverse the creek and then go over onto the other side of the creek and you know, but you have to go over the creek and everything. So it's the access point from the subdivision, and that is pinched off or fenced off there and out into here a little bit too, I think.
Okay, well, the last survey we had, does that coincide with the road being there right now? Is that survey good enough to do to?
I don't think Stratton went that far down. I think he did everything from like this E Street off of Brook Road going up.
HMH put stakes in, but half those stakes are already pulled out. It's been 4 or 5 years since they did
We'd
it.
have to spend more on the survey down below.
Okay.
This is a separate issue from the Board of Equalization, but it is part of the problem.
Okay.
So, all right, so if I understand the assessor right, you've already taken into account the access.
25%.
25%.
Well, I'm glad we were able to make the other adjustment. I don't know. I think I'd be inclined to let this one stand and let them appeal it higher up if they think that they've got a case. I just don't know what else to do with it.
I would also agree with that, because really we can't. If we, it would be worth more if they can get access, but
But we've got to,
and we did take it out of 25%.
okay. So are we just going to leave that one
Yeah,
as it is?
Yep.
Okay,
that's all we can do at this point.
all right. You want to make a motion?
Okay, I'll motion to accept the assessor's value for parcel ending in 000A and these aren't the same, are they? 180A?
018A.
018A. Okay, I'm sorry, that was the second one here.
All right, I'll second that.
Okay, oh, go ahead.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Well, I think we have done what we can. It's a start, but we obviously still have other issues to work on up there. Okay. I want to thank you guys for your help. Okay. All right. I think anything else from the assessor?
Nothing. Thank you.
Anything else from the Beehners? Okay. With that, we are adjourned.